Hi everyone, my name is Kate Martell. I'm the Admissions Marketing Manager here at SYA, and today I have the pleasure of hanging out with Mr. Patrick Scanlon, who is our SYA Italy Resident Director. Pat, do you want to introduce yourself, talk a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Kate. It's very good to be here. Here in the home office in North Andover, but I normally live in Viterbo, where our school is. I've been there for almost 15 years now, 13 as the resident director. I come to the school with a great deal of interest in Italian because my grandparents were Italian. That's what got me started. But once I saw the country, I pretty much knew that I could never leave. That's not exactly how it happened, but I've been able to almost manage that. I have studied the University of New Mexico, have degrees in English and biology, and a master's degree in the great books from St. John's College. Interests happened to come together with the Italian language at our school in Viterbo, Italy.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And do you want to talk a little bit about our school in Italy is located in Viterbo, as you mentioned, the city, is it a town or a city of Viterbo, and the benefits of that location?
Well, the locals once laughed at me for calling it a city, so they are proud to call it a town. In Italian, that would be città versus paese. They know they are a paese, from which, if you know a little bit Italian, they call themselves paesini. So what comes into English as paesano means local town inhabitant. Anyway, it's a small town, 60,000 people, in fact, about an hour and a half north of Rome, almost in the dead center of Italy, closer to the West Coast. And so our frequency of taking kids to Rome is pretty high. Kids can get there on their own on many occasions. We have projects there, intentionally not in the big capital where it's almost getting difficult to speak Italian anymore.
Oh, wow.
But in Viterbo, the lingua franca is Italian, or Viterbese, the local dialect. We learn a little bit of both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can attest to how nice the locals are. When I chaperoned the SYA Italy summer program a few years ago, we became instant friends with the owner of the coffee shop right around the corner from the school, and they gave my coworker and I a huge can of their favorite espresso that we could each take home with us. And we had this great exchange, and all week she was helping us learn how to order different things in Italian, and we did our best and kind of fumbled through that. But
well, right before the holidays, I was lucky enough to be able to see the mayor of our town, who wanted me to pass along to our families that he is incredibly grateful for us being in the town and what our students have infused into the town in terms of new cultures, new ideas. They bring their Americanness with them, but they leave as citizens of Viterbo because they adopt all the customs and traditions of the place by living there for a year and living with these incredibly wonderful and giving host families.
Do you want to talk a little bit about host families and that process?
Sure.
Of matching?
We choose our families nowadays basically on word of mouth. The current host families exclusively are passing on their experience to their friends, who will come to us as a school and speak with our host family coordinator. We interview them, we go to their homes, and we tell them that we would like them to host with every bit of our students coming with the idea to adopt their way of living. So the host families can live near the school, or the farthest one away is 15 minutes by public transportation, not far at all, because living in Italy is pretty concentrated still. They sometimes what they've told me is, tell these students we have adopted them. They need to think like they've been adopted. And another one put it where your students are looking for a nest. We are that nest.
Aww.
Isn't that cute?
That is cute. And I saw that host family matching process for the summer program too, and it was like they were so excited. The host families sort of waited on one side of the door and the kids were on the other side, and when they called the students out, it was so exciting. Like they just enveloped them into their family immediately. It was awesome to see.
It is a joyful process. When we land, one of the first things we do is give them a greeting seminar.
Lesson, yes.
And which way to kiss on the cheeks, and what to call them, because it's all brand new to these students.
Right.
But they get up to speed right away.
So don't worry, there is some orientation before you meet your host families. And the other thing, just to mention, when you said word of mouth, that all of our host families want to be host families to be a host family. They want to have these students in their homes and share their lives with them and share their culture and their language with them. It's amazing that we don't actually recruit host families. They come to us.
It's true.
Yeah.
And they also expect that sort of reciprocity. They expect that you will, as a student, be a member of the family, that you will be comfortable there, that you will be a son or a daughter in the most authentic way.
Mm.
You'll
clean your room, though. You're not going to be a teenager in that authentic way.
However, you'll make your bed, you'll put things in, you'll come home and find it made even better.
Oh, wow.
That does happen.
Yeah, my mom used to do that too. So do you want to talk a little bit about, other than it being in Viterbo, what makes SYA Italy so special?
I think the most important thing that makes it special and makes it unique is that it is an entire year. Mm. So I was just talking to alumni some from 3 years ago and some from 12 years ago, and I said, my question to them was, when did the year feel like you were living there? And they said it was December, January, and that it was after that point that, because they were comfortable, they got the benefit of that second semester to really live there and really feel like this was home.
Yeah.
So the fact that it's a year program is, I think, incredibly special. That's wonderful. I sometimes have Italians ask me, what's the value of studying our language? They know that it's not the language of business, it's not the language of diplomacy, but it is, by all accounts, musical and beautiful. But even that's not the appeal. The appeal to me is that any language that you learn to speak, and this is going to sound very cliche, you will learn about yourself in ways that you could not have known if you hadn't learned another language. So it just so happens, if you're going to get that out of any language, why not speak the language that gave us opera and incredible poetry, and still to this day, the beauty and aesthetics that is also surrounding us in the form of art and architecture and landscape and excellent food.
Yeah. Oh, excellent food. I can attest to that too. Pizzas that you don't think that you're going to be able to finish, but you will.
You'll finish them anyway.
You will.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about a little bit about the curriculum of SYA Italy?
Yeah, the curriculum. I'll start. As a teacher, you think, and when you plan a unit for curriculum, you think about outcomes and the end and what you want your students to be able to do and the way you want them to think and what they can accomplish. We finished the year with this amazing capstone project. And the capstone project involves travel to a place outside of Viterbo, within 5 or 6 regions that we've defined with a group of 5 other kids, 5 other students, in which you have designed, planned, and executed, researched a trip that you will then present to an open forum of 300, 350 people in Italian at the end of the year on what you've seen and done.
No pressure.
No pressure at all. And the students are always astonishing. The families are invited to that.
Yeah.
The schools we work with are invited to that. Our extracurricular providers are invited to that. And it is a really incredible accomplishment to be able to make these presentations in Italian by the end of the year, having organized the entire trip for themselves. So travel is really both safe, I think in Italy relatively inexpensive.
It is. Yeah.
Very accessible. And I've traveled around Europe a lot. Italy offers a variety of places in close proximity to one another like no other country, I believe.
Yeah.
So that you cross a mountain range in 25 minutes you've got another set of cookies and another dialect and whole other uses, a different kind of
Different
pasta,
pizza, yeah.
different pizza. I think the variety of the country still astounds me.
Yeah.
When I move around.
I studied abroad in college in Bologna. I don't know if I ever told you that, but I took every chance I had to go somewhere different, go up to Venice, go down to Rome, climb Pompeii in flip-flops, which I don't recommend doing, bring sneakers, and climbing around Capri, and it's just amazing how much is there and how much there is to see.
Absolutely, and wouldn't you agree that when you thought Italy, you thought of the Italy of movies, and you would, if you thought Italian person, you would think Italian American, because that's the thing that you have.
Totally.
And when you get to Italy, you realize that it is not really a country. It is just a million pieces of a mosaic, and that the longer you live there, the differences you see in the landscape, like you were mentioning, Capri and Bologna are very different.
Very different.
Within a country that is about 70 to 75% the size of my home state of New Mexico.
Right.
So it's
amazing.
It's packed into a very tiny little place that's all accessible by train, by public transportation. Offers a lot of adventures.
Yeah.
For the ones who are looking for it.
You mentioned the schools that you work with. Do you want to talk a minute about some of the school exchanges that SYA Italy students do?
2 weeks in a local public school in Viterbo. So you'll do a week in the fall and then a week in the spring to the same place. The idea there is to make contacts with kids your age, make friends, have other things to do besides SYA students. So they'll actually will stop classes and they will go to the local schools and get on that exact rhythm with them.
And do they shadow a particular student, or they shadow a class, or?
They are in a particular section of a particular class, but they're mixing with a lot of kids in that grade and in that school as well. And the teachers are doing activities with them often to engage our kids so that they can be an authentic part of school.
And I know that people have seen our students out with the Italian students hanging out after school or on the weekends or something.
Not only, I mean, they'll sometimes travel together, or they will have dinner together. They will both, maybe they've met a friend that's having dinner in the host family's house, and then reciprocating and having dinner in that house, taking day trips to Rome together. Making these friends, they say, is one of the more rewarding and fulfilling parts of their experience.
Yeah, lots of kids ask about the opportunities to meet with other teens their age when they're abroad.
Well, just to say back to the community piece too, I think that our students are seen as an excellent resource for those teens to make friends with our students as well.
Sure. It goes both ways.
Sure. And we offer a few programs on our own campus and our own school to bring kids in. One's called International Gemellaggio, which means a pairing, a twinning, that discuss issues. Those meetings are run all in English first semester and all in Italian second semester.
Cool.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Get progressively more in Italian, and all the classes get progressively Italian. It's integrated more and more as the year progresses. Right?
All of our classes are considered bilingual. So that begin in it, because most of our students are raw beginners, but as the year goes on, yes, that progression occurs. And I'm teaching a class right now in agroecology, which is the science of the local food and water conservation, that is now in January almost exclusively taught in Italian. It's a surprise to some of our students that they can do. They wrote a recent science report in Italian for us after 4 months of being in the country. And
that's probably including some more complex vocabulary regarding those scientific,
without a doubt,
aspects.
Without a doubt, part of the class brings that out, but part of the discovery process of the laboratory or the write-up makes you have to go and learn some words that you didn't know you needed to know. Right. Yeah. Awesome. So if you had one piece of advice to someone who is considering SYA Italy, what would you say? I would say a piece of advice, I guess it would be,
Other than apply and go.
and do it.
Yeah.
It's such a cliche, but it will change your life. That's what our students tell us. I know it happened to me. I didn't exactly do this program, but I did raise my family there. And we have a very rich and fulfilling life by virtue of living where we are.
Yeah, nice.
Yep.
We've asked this question to others, and they've said you get out of the experience what you put into the experience too. That, knowing that from day one helps you not be afraid to make mistakes in the language, and helps you feel a little bit more comfortable knowing that you're going to have to give, and then you're going to get so much out of it.
Right. That fear of making mistakes is so natural, and it's reflexive, especially for juniors and seniors in high school. But the quicker you can overcome what Santo San Martino calls a momento di stupidità, that you're gonna be up against not knowing, and the moment
I don't speak Italian, and I think I get what that means.
It's all cognates. And as soon as you can overcome that, I guess it's an apprehension. The quicker you will learn. Kids want to know, when will I be speaking Italian? And it's sort of like the answer to yours, as quickly as you want to be.
Sure.
With some limits early on, but we're recording this on January 13th, and students are saying, no, this is happening now.
Yeah.
This is happening right now.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All I know how to say is ordering coffee. That's all I got.
Well, you got an entire kilo in your luggage last time. That's good.
Yeah, right, and I'm still drinking it. Well, thank you all for watching. If you have any questions, please be in touch with us. I will put our information of how you can be in touch with us below the video. And thank you all for watching.
Grazie dell'ascolto. Ci vediamo in Italia.
Ciao.
Ciao.